Hi all. So today we'll talk about what is array versus array objects. Okay. We know we have a fair idea of what array is. So anything of this kind with the values bound between those square brackets. Okay. This is array, and the value could be anything from numbers to strings to some objects, and we can check it also if this is a instance of array via instance of operator. Okay, so let's check it. Let's see what exactly is this. Yeah, see, so this is an array, and we can access the property of array with the help of indexes, right? So if we'll check, this is printing the first element. If we'll check the third element, it will print the third element. Okay, but now let's see another kind of object. Okay, it is not an array, rather an object. So every function has got let's say we have a function square elements. Okay, and we accept, let's say, three numbers, and we have to square them and return the squared array of those arguments. So in JavaScript, for those who, if you don't know, so we have inbuilt arguments object, and this basically is uh, this holds the argument that is being passed to any of the method. So if you log it, you'll see. So I'll save it and run it. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't call this method. So square elements 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Okay. So see, okay, let's not confuse with the numbers and indexes. So I'll change it to 20 and 30. Okay. So yeah, so we have this arguments. Okay, implicitly provided object which has key. This is a JSON object, right, which has a key of 0 and a value of 10. That is the first argument, and key of 1 with the second argument as the value. So if I have to access the first argument, I have to provide index 0. So basically we are not providing index, rather it's a key for an object. Okay, so if I'll print this one, so see, we can get the value of first argument, right? But then syntactically it looks like arguments is not an object, instead it's an array. Okay, so let's see if it is so. So if argument is instance of object, or if arguments is instance of array, let's see it. We'll save it, we'll clear the console, no test. See, it's an instance of object and not array. Okay, but then the behavior is similar to array, and for these kind of objects we call them as array like objects. Okay, we call them as array like objects, So what's the big deal? I mean, why we are looking into this? The reason being, so let's suppose if it was an array, okay, if the parameters were an array, we could have simply used the map method to return the square of every number a, b, and c, right? But since arguments is not an array, it's an object that we have just seen here, right? We cannot use map method because map method is a method of array instance. Okay, right? So one of the workaround is to use call method. Now the call, what is call method? Call method is an instance method of function. So let's say, so basically this square elements it's a function, right? So a square element is an instance of function class. Okay, you want to see that also? Let's see it. Square elements is instance of function. Let's save it and print it. See, it's true. And function has a inbuilt method. Okay, we have the inbuilt method as call. Okay, see. So what call method does is, I'll give you a brief idea. So in call, let's say there is a function b, okay, and there is an object a. And if a dot b is not possible, okay, because in this case b has to be a's own method, but since a could be it could be any object, so b could not necessarily be a part of a, right? Because see, here square elements, argument is an object, but argument does not have any method as square elements. Similarly, argument is an object and map is a method provided by arrays instance. So argument has no access to map. Am I clear? See, a has no method called as b. But if we want to do some operation hypothetically like a dot b, so we cannot do that because there is no method in a as b named as b. So in that case, we use something as b dot call. Before syntax, I must tell you, this call is a method provided by functions prototype. Okay, so anything that is an instance of function will be having this call method as its own method. Cool. B dot call. Now what call takes is, so call is takes the caller of the B method. So hypothetically, what we had wanted, we wanted to have something like a dot b, right? So here a is the caller of b method. So here the first argument that a call takes is the caller of this method. Here a should be provided. Now there should be a comma separated arguments that b needs. Let's say b could be any method. B could be a method that takes x and y as parameters. So in this case, if you want to do something like a dot b and passing x and y as the parameters, since we cannot do this, so a is provided by the call's first argument, and now since the rest of the parameters will be the parameters that is needed by a b function, so we'll pass x and y. So to summarize, b is a method and call is the method of provided with a function prototype, and hence b has the direct access to call. Now call takes the first parameter as the caller of this b method, and the rest comma separated parameters is the parameter that is needed by the b. So in this case, what we want to use to square the elements, basically we want to return the array of a square, okay, a square plus b, sorry, b square and c square. We want to have the output like this, okay. So we can easily do for an array, right, using map method. So let's have an hold of that map method using array dot prototype dot map method. Okay, since it's an instance method for the array instance, so that can be accessed via this. Now map is a method. So here map is b, and since arguments dot map is not possible, since arguments is an object and not an array, and it's also necessary and not an array, because every array is an object. So that if this is an object, it's not necessarily mean that it is not an array. It could be an array, but in our case we have seen that it's an object but not an array. So argument.map is not possible. Cool. So in this case, map is our b, and this arguments, okay, this argument is our a, with this analogy. Okay, so we want map.call. Now the first argument is the argument object that we wanted to call b, and we want arguments to call map, so we will pass arguments. Cool. Now what? And we want the parameters that is needed by map method. What map takes? Can you remember? The map needs just a single callback, that is e, and which will return e star e. Okay, this is just squaring the numbers, and we will be returning this. Fine. So let's try running for 1 2 3. Cool. Save it, run it, and yeah, we have this result 149. Now can we create our own array like object and try running this for that object? Okay, what I'm saying this is, let's have apple as an object, and key, as you know, we have just discussed, the key should be indexed. Okay, it should be like 0 1 2 3. So 0 should be the key. Let's have apple in city 0 as 10, and let's have the production of, basically this object is, let's say hypothetically, it's storing the production of apples in different cities. It could be in 10 units, metric ton, doesn't matter. So 20, let's have 2 as a key, and then we have 30. Fine. Let's log it. Apple. Okay. We'll just run it and see. We have this 0 1 2 3 key. Okay. So this is looking similar to what we have seen in arguments, right? So can we try running the map method using call method? Okay, we have a lot of methods here. So can we try squaring all of these numbers? So let's try. So again, what we want, which method we want to call? We want apple.map, right? To square the numbers. And this is a callback. And since it is an object, so it cannot access map directly. So let's use the map.call method. What we wanted here? Apple to call. So we'll pass apple. And what map takes as the argument is callback. So let's pass the callback as element e, and e should be squaring, basically e should be multiplying with itself to get the square of it. And let's store it in a result. Okay, and let's log the result. Okay, it seems it is not working. Why? Let's comment it out and I'll rerun. See, it's not working. The result is not working. Why? So is it like we have an exception for arguments? Is it the case, or are we missing something? So before this, so let's see the documentation of map method, as what it takes, what exactly should be the caller properties be. So if you'll see the description, okay, there is a paragraph here which says the map method is generic. It only expects the this value. What is this value for us? Whatever calls the map method is the this value. So in our case, Apple is calling Of course, via call apple.map, it will be eventually turning out to be apple.map. So apple is the this for in our case, okay, fine. It only expects the this value to have a length property and integer keyed properties. Okay, now I got it. So integer keyed properties we have already provided, correct? But we are missing this because we don't have any properties as such in Apple. We can see. We'll just log apple dot length. Sorry, its length, and we'll just test it out. See, it's throwing undefined. There is no key as length. Okay, let's manually bind as the length property as length equals to 3 and save it and run it. Oh, I see. We are also we are getting the length as well as the result that we ideally wanted, right? So this is the key difference between array and array like object, that array can directly access the array method. There is a no brainer for this statement, but array like object is just behaving like an array, but since it is an object, it cannot access the methods of array. And there this call method comes into the rescue. Or what is the array like object is, I just described that it should have indexed key, and there should be a length property. Okay, because map method needs this value to have a length property and integer keyed properties. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks.